like it. Hello, everyone. We are live talking about beer, being sexy, and all that kind of fun stuff because we're the Crouchy Boys with a special guest. We won't say his name because he likes SEO. So, how's it going, boys?
It's fine.
We'll just call him Mike.
Yeah, just call me Mike. Yeah.
So, boys, we have beer. Locke, since you're in Ontario, how about you show us your beer first?
Right. Okay. So there's a bit of a story here. Now, Alan, the other day you mentioned you had had a Trooper beer and that it had sucked. I could just be we don't agree on that, but I noticed something the other day that struck me as kind of odd, and that's this new thing.
What is that? Oh,
yeah. Now you'll notice
his hot booty call is calling.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what's happening, and it's not happening because I'm in the middle of something. Notice of the notable features of this new tin. The art,
it's much less intricate.
The art is kind of lame compared to the old tin.
Yeah.
Which looks much more badass, and for a band that does a lot of trade on their art, you might wonder why they decided to go for a tin with less cool art. Why would they do that?
Do you have an answer for that?
And then it struck me. And so I started checking out, okay, well, let's look at the tins. Are they brewed in the same place? Actually, my first guess, which is that this brewed in the US, brewed in the UK, is wrong. They're both brewed in the UK. Both UK products, licensed, tinned, everything in the UK. Import product. So that's not true. And then I started best before and feed baked. And they repeated 9 other ones. Oh, right. C6. Right, there are better dates on this. And that's what. Are these? Yes. Older. This one is the oldest one obtained in liquor stores currently. And its best before date is next month, January. So it's not quite, but it's older. Whereas this is summer. And so one of the things is I wonder if liquor stores picking up the product on the basis of, well, it'll sell because band and marketing and getting started. And so it doesn't matter. Right?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So if you were Rob, you do to ensure that they're carrying the product, you change the flavor. So that's, I think, maybe what happened. Theory proven, and I have been to verify it on. But what I am going to do side by side.
I'd be very curious if the color is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Alan, get naked. We need more viewers.
Okay.
Nice shirt, by the way, Locke.
Yeah. This is from Pig Brewery, Copenhagen.
Oh, cool.
So it's funny.
They're a brewery and barbecue house.
The theme song for the wrestling event that we were at tonight was War Pigs.
Nice.
So what was the biggest match tonight?
Oh gosh! So the biggest match at Survivor Series here in Vancouver was
the new product that had on the old product.
Oh geez, yeah, it's way different.
I didn't pour as much into the glass of the new product as I can of the old. So let's try them now.
I'd say the Roman Reigns CM Punk, like the main event.
CM Punk.
It was like 5-on-5. It was with a steel cage and all that stuff. It was crazy.
So that's the one you just had. That's the older one.
That's the older one. I'm going to try the newer one. Okay, there's a noticeable.
Oh.
This tastes more, for lack of caramelized, which is to say that there's something in the flavor profile here is blended and here has fallen apart. Has a kind of a caramely note of sweetness that is sort of out of place and jarring. And it upstages the profile considerably. And the bitterness is minute, I would say. Whereas here it's first of all for all the frothier head, smoother drink, and so it's not as carbonated or as fizzy. So it's smoother mouth. And flavor profile more like it's a little bit more sweet.
Do the cans have like a brew on date or brew like a batch date or anything?
That's before, yes, exactly, and that's what I'm saying. They're on the bottom of the can.
Okay, so basically, yeah. So the older one definitely. It doesn't answer the new can design.
So Alan, I don't know if this answers your question or not. What I suggest is get a hold of the one in the red tint and see if it changes your mind about whether it sucks.
Okay. I seem to remember having one in the black tint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that we've had before has been in the black design.
Yeah, and that design has been out for since COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Alan, myself, and Mike will be drinking the black ginger beer called Nicky Brow. I don't know. I pronounced that totally wrong.
It's Dead Frog.
But Dead Frog Brewery, which we've had here on the show before.
Nothing like a cold dead frog.
Now, I don't know anything about this beer. Alan, educate us.
I don't know anything about it. Let me just see here.
It was at the 4 Mile beer store, and we bought it. Or not 4 Mile. We went to...
clock's in at 5.5%. Let's see what it
bad.
says here. Nicky Brow, black ginger beer. Well, Nathan, you asked for it. Nicky
that
Brow
ginger is right up.
Ginger's
body,
popping.
dark style with a rich malt base, a touch of sweetness, and
Listen
an
to that,
intense
though.
lingering ginger.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
That is one loud head.
it's crazy. It's like snap. It's like a bowl of Rice Krispies.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's a dark ale with a hint of ginger on the back end.
Yeah, you're right. The taste of ginger isn't up front; it's on the back end. But the nose is ginger like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The smell is amazing.
This beer would go great with sushi. Right out of the gate. Or any kind of even sashimi or something like that. Just because of the wasabi gingery kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. So is it sweet or is it
There's a
dry?
lot more.
There's a bit of sweetness to it.
There's a
but
bit
not
of sweetness. It's not
not a
over.
ton.
It's not
It's mild.
overpowering. But I would say it's more sweet than dry, but it's not overpowering at all.
The ginger on the back end, though, isn't gonna knock you. It's not gonna burn your throat either. It's just
No,
there.
not at all. There's no sting or anything. It's really pleasant, very mellow. I'm actually really enjoying it.
I like
Nice.
the mellowness of it. It's actually, I was expecting it to be a lot stronger.
It's very thick, though. It's like a thicker beer for because it's an ale, right? Is it an ale?
It is.
Yeah.
It's a dark ale.
Yeah. It's got that thickness. So for me, whenever I see ginger and stuff, it's normally in lagers or lighter stuff. So when they start throwing it in the deeper stuff, that whole thickness of an ale kind of is oh. So it's an interesting combo.
Has anybody, have any of you had that Jamaican ginger cake that they do at Christmas?
No.
No.
I'm wondering if the flavor profile would be like that. There's a Dragon's Chef, the Jamaican sort of mainstream stout offering. But yeah, there's like a Jamaican ginger cake it's like a ginger loaf thing that they do, and it's like,
I like it. I give it a thumbs up. I mean, I don't know if I'd rush out and buy another one.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is it crisp?
It's crisp, but it's not like
Christmassy.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
would say yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm like you. I mean, I would probably, if someone gave it to me. I mean, I like it, but it's not one that is a repeat. Like, oh, let me buy a 4-pack of this necessarily. If I was gonna do that, it would have to be like an occasion beer as opposed to something I would.
Yeah, it's like it is a beer that should only be brewed at the holidays and be put into an advent calendar.
Like Gratitude by Hoyne.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you say that because I think we bought this beer like around Beer Festy time. Did we not?
Yes, like at the end of
Mid-September.
second week of September. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was something that came out for like
Was it?
the late summer.
Was Dead Frog at Beer Fest? They
Yes,
were
they
not, were they?
Yes, they were.
Oh, they were. Okay.
They were.
Did they
They
have?
were?
Did they have this on site or no?
They didn't.
What did they have? Do I have
I
no
don't
memory
remember
of
what
them
they
being there.
had.
Probably their usual. Their lime.
I'm pretty
beers.
sure they did not have this.
They have a beer that's got lime in it. I'm certain that is like one of their more popular ones. I'm trying to remember, but Dead Frog is definitely, they make good beer. This is decent.
See, I disagree with you guys. Like, I would run out and get, I mean, not right now, but I would, if they put like a 4-pack of these, I'd run out and get those.
I want to see you run out
Just
and
run
get
out
one
right
right now. But you have to go out the Cheers door and up the stairs.
Yeah.
You can't just leave.
And you got to bring
leave it
to bring the camera crew with you, so that way we can see the whole thing.
Yeah, and entirely like late night TV.
Yeah, man on the street.
Man on the street kind of thing. Yeah. So overall, the beers tonight are decent. They're not stellar, but they're not terrible. They're not cucumber beer from Granville Island Brewing.
Yeah.
I had one tonight at the arena that I was surprised. It was a peach sour by. Was it Granville Island Brewing? I think they're the only ones that serve at the Rogers Center. I think.
Primarily, but they do have some special guests.
Yeah, it was good. The peach sour was really good. Not too sour. Again, I think you can pull off ginger beers and sours in a way that makes them more accessible for people who wouldn't normally have them, because if it's too burny or if it's too, acidic, then that throws people off.
Yeah.
I would buy that beer, like the one I had at the arena. I'm like, oh, this is pleasant, and I would buy it in a heartbeat. This one I liked. I don't know if I'd run out and buy a bunch, but Alan would. So I just go over to Alan's place if I want one then.
That's right. I mean, he lives in Boston now, so.
Yeah, apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
All right, what is notable in the beer world this week? Yep. Thanks for doing your research.
Well,
Just let me go talk to ChatGPT and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, there was something, and I said, "Hey, remember this, and we could talk about it." And you know why? Because I'm over 50 now, and that's what happens. When you're over 50.
You need like a notepad, like a tiny little booklet.
I think
Locke carries one around.
I do.
He's very good at taking
Dead
notes.
honest.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But did you note any beer stuff this week in your lawyerly way?
Well, let me see. Did I note any beer stuff? Here's something that crossed my radar, I think, maybe a little while ago. So, I was looking when cruising through, like trying to find information about the Robinson that I'm drinking right now. Describing to you earlier. It turns out that there's actually a few other beers licensed by Iron Maiden beers to other brewers, including Brewdog in Scotland, who released, of all things, a product called Cat. Looking at the label, it's confusing. Initially, I was sort of like, "Oh wait, is it?" No, it is. Yeah, there it is. There's the Iron Maiden logo up at the top, and the name Hellcat is like a Iron Maiden font. That's not definitive in itself. That happens nowadays. But, the logo itself was of a lion out at you were holding the tin. So it's a play on Brewdog, I guess. Brew Lion. Maybe Steve Harris initiative, like British Lion. I don't know. But the fact that there are a few breweries doing that thing. What else have we noticed? Let me see. If there's a place consistently been impressed.
Wow.
I would have to note Barbolo. Initially, that their barley wine, they got a bunch of other very fresh, all that stuff. Changes all the time. I have stuff in stores ever. It's all just on site. In the room kind of product. Very small bag, very niche.
That's right, girls. Okay, I just want to bring this to our attention because this is actually absolutely fascinating to me. Dubai is set for Heineken's first beer brewery in a major Islamic city. So Heineken has been providing beer to Dubai for more than 20 years, and the brewery is being built in Dubai to match demand. So either Dubai is like one of the largest tourist destinations on the planet, or there's a lot of people who are Islamic that are drinking beer that they shouldn't be drinking.
Well, it's a bit of both, and this is the thing that I keep bringing up is that for all that we imagine ourselves to be, living in the land of the free, and we can do whatever we want. Libertarian. Our alcohol rules are actually much more restrictive than a lot of other places on the planet, and many of them Islamic. Because there are theological rules doesn't mean that there are rules that actually affect day-to-day commerce. So that's one of the things that you can find by traveling in Turkey. But as far as it's a bit of both. It's absolutely one of the top tourist destinations on the planet. So
I don't know if I'd want to go to Dubai, mainly because I don't think I could survive drinking Heineken only.
Fair.
I got loaded on a flight, an 11-hour flight from Vancouver to Frankfurt, drinking only Heineken. And I did that thing where you drink just a few too many, and then you get down, it's like you're feeling pretty good, and then you land, and then your body goes, ha 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 ha, and then you fall down. But that was a long time ago, and I was much younger, and I don't think I could survive that now. I don't think I could survive Heineken only beer at all.
Well, I wonder if Heineken going into Dubai is just it's got to be just the beginning. There'll be others.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no wonder.
Tip of the iceberg.
I mean, what do they say? Corona is the most popular beer in the most consumed beer, I think, in the world, right?
Yeah.
I think Corona is, if I remember
Wouldn't
correctly.
surprise me.
Or at least in North America.
Most consumed beer.
Yeah, I think Corona's up there. But I mean, I would imagine they'll probably have something. It's funny, I was just looking at some other news. So, Costco, of course, a lot of Costco's you can buy alcohol in. Not so much where we are, right? We can't buy booze in our Costco's, right?
Heineken, Corona.
Oh, so Heineken's number 1, then Corona. All right, well, then Corona would be next. I don't think Budweiser was number 3 is going to show up in Dubai.
No, definitely not.
But the Costco is now doing, speaking of Heineken, like a hellish style. Well, that's more like Steam Whistle's more of a hellish.
Yes.
But Costco's doing their new Kirkland style lager, and the headline is "Why Beer Fans Are Excited for Costco's New Kirkland Lager." Now, when you put Costco and beer together, and if it's Kirkland, you're kind of thinking, well, it's Kirkland beer. Who drinks Kirkland beer? But as somebody who worked for Costco for like a long time, I'm not there anymore, but we all know that Kirkland signature brands are always like, if you can't get Duracell batteries, then you get Kirkland to do it, and then Duracell eventually goes in, or Ocean Spray with the cranberry cocktail, all that stuff. Right. So it's actually Deschutes Brewery that's brewing this one for Costco. Yeah, which is like So that immediately, like, so if you're thinking Kirkland beer and you're like, who drinks that? But then you find it's Deschutes, it changes the conversation right away.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'll be available in Canada, but it's certainly going to be.
It might be, because I believe Canada, the Canadian Costco branch, is introducing wine first in 20. Well, sometime next year.
Alberta already does have alcohol in it, though.
Really?
The Alberta stores do. But
I'm talking about BC. You're
BC
right.
is starting to. I know Ontario is introduced it as well. I think in some of the Costco's.
Yes, it's trickling in. Like you still have to argue with the guy at the 7-Eleven counter as to whether or not it's past the right time and all that.
Right. Now, here's the thing about Kirkland brand things too. Is that just last year, my other half was talking about how she wasn't sure if she wanted to buy Kirkland brand shampoo and conditioner. Mm-hmm. And then I did the Googling and thought, okay, well, who actually makes this stuff? And apparently it's some company I'd never heard of. But to get the bottle size at Costco would be like $90 if you were to buy it and under whatever its brand name was.
Yeah, it's like a salon style shampoo and conditioner. Yeah.
So, but for Costco, you get it for $12, $15, whatever it was. But that's kind of interesting that Deschutes is making it, because to me that would be a better beer. Now, would we buy Kirkland brand beer and have it on the show?
Yeah. If it's made by Deschutes, absolutely.
I think you'd buy it just to say you have Kirkland beer and then go, by the way, this is made by Deschutes, right? It's kind of like most of the other situations where... But although, truth be told, we're on a live streaming platform, like, there are streamers and YouTubers that you see wearing Kirkland signature sweaters at this point.
Really?
Like, oh yeah. It's not a... You don't wear this stuff. It's almost... It's being worn ironically at this point, I think, to the point where it's like...
Which is to say that once it's being worn ironically, then it will be worn unironically, ironically.
Fair.
Fair.
I think I'd be one of those people to get like a tattoo of the Kirkland brand logo on my nipples or something.
But yeah, I mean, the alcohol at Costco is top notch for the most part. So
yeah, because I remember going down to Bellingham and looking at all the alcohol they have there, and there's like Kirkland vodka, Kirkland this, Kirkland that, and I understand that the Kirkland, at least in the vodka, is Grey Goose, I think so. Who makes it. So, but of course, you go buy a bottle of Grey Goose and then you buy a bottle of Kirkland, and their price differential is like just huge, but
yeah, they
can afford it, or I guess it's.
Well, they'll make deals. I mean, Costco has no issue with cash flow. They are in a very strong buying position.
Isn't there like half their revenue is something to the effect of the memberships?
I don't know, but I mean, Oh, most of it is. There's this great podcast I listen to pretty regularly called Acquired. And it's hosted by these two guys who just basically talk about the building of business. They've actually, I think, done Anheuser-Busch. I think it's one of them. But the most recent episode they did was, what was it? Well, I listened to the Starbucks episode. Oh, they did IKEA.
Oh.
And they talked about how IKEA, like what they did. And these episodes are long. They're like 3 hours, and they do one per month, but they are deep dives into businesses. And even though I'd worked for Costco, there were things they talked about during the Costco episode that I had no idea even were a thing. Like Costco's eyeglasses, like they saw the eyeglass industry was such a racket that they built their own lens manufacturing facility to help put the cost of lenses back into like some kind of reasonable expectation. Really? Because they could, so they'll do that. If they can't get the deal they want, they're like, well, fine, we'll just make it. And they can't.
We will compete with you now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's smart. I mean, why not? If you have the capital to do it, and you want to do it long term, then I would. Why the hell not?
Right.
I mean, I look at beer podcasts. I know that we're the top podcast in every country on the planet.
Clearly.
So,
I mean, with like,
if we had to make our own brewery, we'd just do it like that.
Yeah, we just don't want it.
We're busy people. We got things to do.
Point.
Oh. Hang on. There's another guest.
Still social distance.
What's up, Block?
Oh,
that's what happens when I lock the door.
I'm still social distancing.
So apparently we got a visitor at Shane's door. Let's see.
So
there's more visitors coming.
Friend of the show. Here, Julian.
Is it Julian?
We can tag Julian. Why don't I tag Julian in and you take Julian in? Okay. All right.
Thank you very much.
Julian, how are you doing, my man?
Good to see you, lad.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Locke. What is your present location, please? Or is this a Muskoka situation? Hogtown? What's going on?
Oh no, I'm in Toronto.
You're in Hogtown?
Hogtown.
Do people in Toronto call it Hogtown anymore?
No.
Or is that people from outside Ontario casting aspersion on the good burgers of Ontario?
I think Toronto's a moving target right now. Once all those trains are done, they be unrecognized. None of the people living here will have any notion of call it.
My understanding that
Thank you.
My understanding that cyclists in particular will be moving targets in Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. I mean, look. Here's the thing: when you sneak legislation in because COVID, there's a chance it's going to get rolled back. Maybe you should,
especially with who they've got in charge too.
Okay,
But
it's not like they actually took a moment and thought about setting up bike paths and did it properly, like they did. In most European cities. This is like, well, I know. We'll just add an extra lane of traffic between the turning lane and the corner, right? What could go wrong?
A lot of this stuff is being done without a lot of forethought. In Victoria, we see it too. So it's very interesting when you're trying to mesh all of this stuff together, and it's all the sides don't quite get aligned.
Well, cheers to Doug Ford.
Yeah.
Speaking for the
Cheers to
people.
Doug Ford.
My
$1 beers and fuck the bike lanes.
The other thing that nobody's talking about is the fact that the bike lanes, at least in Toronto, got introduced at exactly the same moment that everything went electrical. So it's not like, so these were introduced, so now there's somewhere that the cyclists, those hardworking cyclists, virtuously pedaling their
Get
way
off my lawn!
They've got somewhere to go now, and now it's all, twice the fucking speed limit of the cars. The cars are all in gridlock. And so you've got guys with fucking food on their backs on motorized vehicles going as fast as they can, while pedestrians are like, what?
Yeah.
Now that's a rant.
Shane, do you want to jump in here? I'm gonna. You can sit here instead of having the floating disembodied head in the background. I'm gonna jet and hang with my son for a bit. But it was great to. Thanks for letting me have a beer.
Thank you for joining us, Mike.
Why not?
Yeah, this was awesome. Cheers, guys. Alan, I'll probably see you before I see any of these other guys. So.
Alan, how you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What do you got? You got any dark beer there? You got any black beer? What stout?
I have
Any
the
drink?
same thing as
that
you.
beer this evening. That can.
Oh, Knickerbrow black ginger beer. Seriously, was this your introduction, Alan?
Well, Shane and I made it together.
Sorry, I missed it. Then what was? If you don't mind me interrupting the flow, just to ask you, what did you think of this?
I really liked
Alan.
it. I really
You liked
liked it. The flavor of the ginger was subtle on the back end. Doesn't kick you in the teeth. Very smooth, not too sweet. I really enjoyed it.
I have a love-hate relationship with ginger beer. I can smell the ginger in this.
You can
what's
smell it.
on the one
It-
hand, what's not to like about ginger beer?
The
On the other
scent
hand, it's
is
shitty.
really strong. The flavor is not,
Mhm.
which is interesting.
You can't complain. So,
Lockhart, sorry, Shane.
Oh, no.
Lockhart, will you be returning to Land O'Lakes, the Muskoka region, God's country, anytime soon? Shane's told me that there may be some family situations that might not make it right for you to be providing your base in the great land of Muskoka.
All of that is very much up in the air, but
Got it.
in the more in the more immediate frame of time, I think the likelihood is that I may be running for your neck before very long. So, we shall see.
So what Shane was possibly saying, there may be a couch surfing lock could actually occur.
Yes, that's a very distinct possibility. Only thing left to do is to figure out when the hell I'm going to fly. But yeah, that's kind of how it's coming together.
All right, thank you for updating me. I'm sorry to crash your podcast, but I'm glad to be updated.
Inquiring
Thank
minds
you.
want to know.
Yes,
That's
inquiring
very,
minds
very
want to know. Right, it's not just about Ladysmith and whatever. I want to know about Bracebridge and Gravenhurst and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ladysmith?
Well, you don't like. I know you don't like. You don't really like. It's close to Langford, isn't it? I'm just winding up. I'm just winding up the Victoria boys. People on this side of Georgia Strait think it's all one happy little fucking village. They don't realize there's a difference between Machosen and Duncan. They just don't
Okay.
know. They just don't know.
Tell them about your addiction to Machosen of late.
Oh,
Because we were having a discussion about Machosen the other day, and I asked you why you were picking on Machosen.
Well, the thing was that way back in the day, I did have reasons to be on the Great Rock of Victoria on a fairly regular basis, much more so than in recent times. And in those days, when I met people living in Victoria City proper, they would regularly cast aspersion on those communities, Souk, Machosen, Langford, as kind of redneck outer suburbs that only semi-educated, bucktooth, pickup truck driving wankers would actually live there, right? And so I know that the gentrification of these communities has occurred, and that there is some education going on there now. But back in the day, am I wrong about my perception of these places?
No,
Please.
not at all. Not at all.
No, that definitely.
I heard that last week Machosen got fired.
Wow.
So things
Machosen
are
got
moving up.
fired?
Fired.
Yeah,
They're off the
they
list.
discovered fire.
Machosen's off the list.
Wow, Machosen has fire now.
So now you have to go to Jordan River to be bucktooth banjo playing.
Oh no, you got to go all the way to Port Renfrew.
Langford now has bronze tools.
You have to understand something. As an Englishman who did not grow up in this country and never really understood, I think I do understand something about Vancouver Island culture. To me, the entire fucking rock is God's country. Like, to me. Like, the big rock is...
To the Queen! I'm not talking about the King yet. It's too soon. Actually, what year did she pass away? Was it 2021 or 22?
I think we missed that by a while. I think it was maybe last year.
What was it last year? 23rd? No. I think it was longer than that.
Who are we talking about now?
Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh, actually, no, it was last year. You're right, because the coronation
God
was this year.
save our gracious king. Long live our noble king.
Rule
God save the king.
rule the waves.
I'm still buying gold.
And
by the way,
this is for Alan.
1700s.
British star is a soaring soul, as free as a mountain bird.
Oh.
His energetic fist? Is it fist?
They didn't have fisting in those days.
They didn't have fisting in those days? It was outlawed at that point, I understand.
But certainly, oh, for just one time I would make a Northwest Passage and fight the hand of Franklin, reaching for the Brevard Sea. Right? Should that not be our national anthem?
Well, it's not a bad one.
It doesn't include the French, unfortunately.
It resonates. It resonates.
54-40 or fight!
It resonates with the position that we're likely now in, which is to say that, you know that Russian and Chinese joint military exercises are going on in preparation to fuck around with Norway, right? So if they're going to fuck around with Norway, are they going to fuck around with us? I'm kind of think maybe so.
Sorry, why Norway?
Well, because they're north, right? If you want to take over the Arctic, then who do you like?
So are they just going to trip over Finland?
Who the fuck do you think's up there?
Just whoops, what was that country? Okay.
They're already well aware of Finland. They're now looking at Norway.
It's just a bunch of fucking reindeer and strong women in funky leggings.
Yeah, which is about the state of Canada
Summers.
well, which is why I'm a little
And
concerned.
firm tits.
Oh man, so basically you're getting praise for the cheers. Okay, I gotta find a pub. Sorry, keep going. Ignore me.
I'm just
Locke.
saying our north it's one of those things that it's a use it or lose it, yeah?
Yes. Do you believe, Locke, that if your Prime Minister Trudeau does increase our NATO spending up to the appropriate amount, at least of 2% GDP, will they use some of that money to protect the Northwest Passage?
Well, I kind of don't know what else we would be doing, really. Like, like it's an interesting question. What other pressing concerns would you address?
I'll tell you point blank. What I would do is I would do what the Americans want us to do with a significant portion of that money, which is to pull our weight in NATO.
Well, look, if you're saying
Not just defending our own position.
if you're saying adopt their offer is to supply military technology so that us and the Finns can develop icebreakers together, yeah, I'm in favor of that. That's a very good idea. That's the only reason why I'm satisfied with the fact that we're not currently involved in offering. Although I think we should still lots to do. But obviously that. But look, my concern here isn't necessarily about satisfying American or NATO obligations. Rather, what the fuck do we actually need to do to hold on to that?
Well, my concern is that Canada's military security has been riding
on other people's coattails. Yeah,
specifically the U.S. We could spend a little more, right? It wouldn't
highly valuable. So it's an important skill set.
Yeah. And so, by the way, do you think there's any chance? Like, what about Muskoka? What about the military defense of Muskoka? Is there any concerns there? What about
nobody?
What about the pickerel? What about the smallmouth bass?
Nobody thinks that they're going to find oil under Muskoka. or minerals.
Well played, Alan. Well played.
Cheers, Alan.
Cheers.
Missed that. Did you?
Burrs is right. He's got it on deck. Nice. Oh yeah.
Well, look. All joking and all seriousness aside, what was the consensus on the?
On that beer, we enjoyed it.
Was it a thumbs up
It
or thumbs down
was-
overall?
It was gingery at the back
Thumbs up.
end, and
Who makes this? I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm late to the party.
Dead Frog.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
Locke, show Julian the cans. Show him your cans.
Yeah, right. So what I was doing was I was testing my theory that the reason that Robinson changed his trooper cans to this somewhat downgrade design, their earlier design, because there were people holding on to the product longer than that before date. And so it's absolutely clear and obvious whether or not the beer that is sitting there in those is actually.
So,
How
sorry,
much?
I'm
How much do
trying
those
to
cost?
compete.
Sorry, Shane.
No, go ahead.
How much, Locke? How much do these tall cans of this type of thing on your side in central Canada? How much do they cost nowadays? Where you buy them?
I would have to cautiously suggest $3.50. Although I could,
Okay, so $3.50 for the 500 ml tall can
yeah,
from a
that's-
craft brewery type of situation.
yeah. Imported UK craft brewery, reputable brewery. Yeah.
Yeah, I was drinking Widowmaker. I was at Tap and Barrel, walking distance from here tonight. I had a Widowmaker. I had a Fat Tug, and with friends, and I did touch the when the terminal was presented. I touched the 18% tip
Oh, okay.
option because I was only there for a little while. We were hogging the bar. I only had 2 beers. It's not, Anyway, the point of what I'm saying is that with
That would
the tip,
be the middle one, right?
it was $28.50 for my 2 pints.
Wow.
Did
That
you
is
get,
where we are now.
Take her and
So-
you get taken in the back and
Well, I tell you who got taken in the back and what it felt like. That's what I'm trying to
So,
say.
Julian, tell me, what do you think of the of this?
Well, I haven't drank any, but I'm smelling
Oh.
the empty can, so to speak.
the can was empty. Sorry.
I smell
Oh,
the
I see,
ginger.
okay.
So I
thought you had some there.
I could maybe there's some dry. I'm not sure who sucked on this, but hey.
The beer here. No one sucked on it. We just poured it up.
Oh, yes, I just took a drink.
The other beer that he's drinking is home. Oh my God, homebrew.
I like ginger beer. I do,
Oh yeah. Same.
but and I've made ginger beer. And I understand ginger beer. I've made it with fresh grated ginger. I've made it with ginger powder. I've made it sweet. And my grandmother, as a boy in England, she would make ginger beer that was not really alcoholic. It was just like pop that we drank. It was just
Yeah.
like ginger powder mixed with the sugar, and it made it fizzy. But there was no. And so it's a long-standing relationship that I have with ginger. Ginger girls too are obviously good, but that's a different thing.
prefer
But never mind that. Yeah, the thing is, I like ginger beer, but on a daily basis, I prefer regular beer. You know what I mean? Like if you pour me a ginger beer, I'm drinking, but I won't order a second one. That's the problem. Same with many beers. I love the new flavors, the things that people are doing. No wit, one wit, D-wit, whatever, Joyce DeWitt, who knows? But in the end, I only want one, and then I go back to what I normally drink, which is ordinary beer. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's difficult. Beer is simple but complex. It's kind of like a relationship of all kinds, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That's what I have for you tonight.
And that concludes the Julian section of the show.
No, it's not over yet.
Oh, we're gonna continue.
It's only.
What's that?
Isn't
Alan, are you in the chopper right now?
Isn't this show about beer?
Apparently.
All about it.
Well, the fact that earlier, what's his name?
His name is Lockhart.
Like-
Locke, thank you. Was comparing a can of beer with a Trooper that had an expiry of December. Is that right?
Like Trooper the band.
The Trooper the band.
Nice.
Well, no, sorry, not Trooper the band. Iron Maiden the band.
And,
Oh.
yeah, but
And,
the best before date.
No.
January 1st as compared to June of next year. And,
Show them the cans. Show them your cans again. I want to see the difference there.
Yeah, right. So this is the older tin design. This one expires next month. This is the new tin design, which
Excuse me.
isn't as good. As I've been saying, for a band that does a lot of trade on their art, this is less cool looking than the other tin. So why did they do it? My only conclusion was it makes it absolutely clear whether or not this is recent or old product. And
I apologize for asking again. What kind of beer is that one?
right,
It's Iron Maiden's Trooper.
Iron
Yeah,
Maiden.
but what kind of beer is it?
Oh, sorry.
So what it is an English strong ale, strong for an English ale, that is. Something like 4.7.
So it's not strong ale at all. Understood. But if you're pouring, I'm drinking.
Yeah. I mean, if you have that, when it's served on taps in England next to everything else being 3.6.
So it's good for pregnant women and children and operating heavy machinery.
Exactly, all of that. All of that applies. Launched in 2013. What do we have to say here? Yeah, I mean, I would describe it. I would describe it as a bitter-ish, English ale. It's not a bitter exact. It's an English ale. It kind of reminds me of Dixon's old Julian. But
Did Locke reboot?
No, I just had trouble with the quality of the voice there.
Say what you were saying.
Say it again, please.
Yeah, right. Theakston's Old Peculiar. So
Old Peculiar. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's the kind of beer that in England is enjoyed by people who support real ale and that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so you might still be able to go home and have a discussion with your wife, possibly after a few.
Yeah,
Possibly, if you could afford to drink.
possibly.
We can't afford to drink for much longer. I mean, does that GST holiday that we're going to get here in Canada, a tax break, apply to beer?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Justin is your friend.
does?
Beer is going to be cheaper?
Yes,
Vote for Justin!
but only in certain.
Only if the alcohol content is like less than, I think, 7% or something.
Yeah.
Or 6.
Oh, really? There's stupid rules like
Yeah,
that?
wine is off the list. It only applies to beer and weak cider. Yes.
Ontario would be
Dumb
furious.
political ploy.
No, it's good. It's like Doug Ford with $1 a beer. Thank you, God. Thank you.
And it never happened.
Cheers to
though.
Doug Ford
Yeah, yeah,
for every man.
Yes. that's
No
right.
bike lanes and more beer that is cheap. No, no.
Victoria's going crazy with her bike lanes.
I'm actually on Doug's side when it comes to the bike lanes. The bike lanes were stupidly introduced. If they're gonna do them,
What about the bike lanes? Love or hate?
if they're gonna do them, they need to do them better.
Not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah, I don't know what's gone wrong with Victoria City Council and Saanich City Council and everybody else. They should all be, I don't know, educated. They should drink beer and ride a bike and see what happens.
I'd like to point out that as a bike rider, all my life, locally and in Ontario, and as someone who has recently bought an electric bike, which is also a point of contention because it's almost
Is it a DeLorean branded bike?
No, but it's almost a motorcycle though. I just turn the hand grip and just floor it, right? You just go. This is not a normal bicycle the way that I. It's difficult, but at the same time, I understand that in downtown Toronto, where you've got a plugged lane, and a plugged street, Main Street, Yonge and Bloor, whatever it is, and then. They've introduced these bike lanes, and these bike lanes are empty because no one rides a bicycle in Toronto in the winter, and they're empty, and you can't go anywhere. So, it doesn't make any sense. In Victoria, it's different. You can ride a bicycle all year round if you want to, although people don't. People don't. Bike lanes are empty in the winter nationwide. It's done for political reasons. But as a bike rider, I do want to ride a bike lane. I like it. I use them all the time. I ride all over Vancouver City, and I love being out of traffic. I love the bike
I
lanes.
have some problem with the bike lanes. I just think that there are too many in the wrong place, and also,
let me simply suggest this.
yeah.
If the accident that nobody the bike lanes, COVID, and electric bicycles all converged at the same time. There's no.
That's a great band name.
There's no rhyme or reason to the fact that those all became a thing at the same time. But the problem is this. If you want to make bike lanes available to people to ride pedal bicycles so that they have somewhere to go that doesn't interrupt foot traffic, don't also introduce powered vehicles to those same bike lanes.
That is actually not a bad point because you're right. You basically have a motorcycle, and you are going much faster than I think anybody could pedal reasonably. So yeah, I mean it's kind of like those not Segways. What are those things? Those little scootery business things that you see all over the place now that are very fast.
Yeah.
And those one wheels, the single wheel things that.
There's every kind of imaginable power.
There is.
Make
There
yourself
is.
really.
The problem with unicycles is that they only have one wheel, but never mind that. The thing is that on the point of bicycles, there are actually rules in place to make sure that an electrical bicycle isn't a motorcycle. In most places, it's between 350 watts and 500 watts. That is the maximum power allowed as a bylaw. But there's no enforcement thing. So guys always want to go faster. So guys are doing 750 watt bikes wheels, 1,000-watt bike wheels, and they're going insane. And you're riding over small dogs and insulting the rights of white women who are walking in dresses on the bike lanes. But so
What?
so this is a problem, But for myself, of course, I have a cheap Chinese bike that has a 350-watt rear wheel that could barely drive me up a shallow hill, never mind into the bedroom of a white woman. So it's an issue, right? It's an issue, and we have a lot of issues. Generally, which is, speaking of Anne of Green Gables, never mind.
Even I had trouble following that at the end.
It's just like Locke.
Well, hey, Locke knows everything.
He knows that Muskoka is God's country, and that's good enough for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought the island was God's country.
Burley Falls.
It is fucking. Basically, anywhere that isn't Toronto is God's country.
Right.
Well, I guess you could say that, but what do you think about this? Burley Falls, Stony Lake.
It's a good name. Let's run with that.
I spent my
Sounds good to me.
teenage years nailing smallmouth bass and pickerel, and generally farting against thunder in the beauty of Muskoka, north of Peterborough, and I really do believe that if I ever go to a place called home, that will be one of those places if I'm given an opportunity.
We could blaze a trail there.
We'd like to blaze a trail to Stony Lake.
That's where you when you first came to the country?
Not at all. No.
No.
This-
Where did you land?
Well, my parents, when we emigrated to this great country back in the day, my parents were enamored of all things French because they had spent time visiting the continent and enjoying all things French. So when we came to Canada, they knew Canada was a bilingual country, so we came to Toronto.
Yeah, of course.
Seriously, I'm serious.
Like every
Because we didn't know. There was no way to find out. That's the way it was.
But it's
What
where
about the internet?
where the airport is. It's where the airport is.
Yes, that's a good point.
Well, they had one in Montreal, but we didn't fly there.
You would have needed to be able to speak French.
It's true.
But as a baby boomer coming of age in Southern Ontario, me and my friends quickly discovered that Muskoka and Kawartha and those areas outside of the city were great places to
not
drink
be in
huge
Toronto.
amounts of beer and kill fish and ride around in bikes and boats and canoes and cars and everything, and it was great. It was not gentrified or in any way expensive in those days.
It,
It's just a place you went for holidays on the weekend.
I would wager that.
Depends on which parts of Muskoka.
Yeah, it depends on which part. So, my wife's family is from Lindsay, Ontario.
Sorry, Alan, say that name again, please.
Lindsay, Ontario.
Lindsay. Oh, Lindsay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Kawartha?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I've been there. I would say it's not gentrified at all, and nothing that I saw around that area seemed gentrified either. So,
But
well,
how
mind
much would
you,
it cost
I
to buy a
haven't
cottage
been-
there?
I haven't been there in quite a few years now, but yeah.
When I say gentrified, I mean that prices have risen exponentially. How much would it cost to buy a cottage near Lindsay, Ontario? I dare say $500,000 is not going to get it done.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
about a cottage necessarily. My wife was telling me that her cousin bought a house
The term
fairly recently for, I think it was maybe 300,000.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
On
but that's
that
not a
note-
cottage. So
What?
On that note,
Okay. Well, I just want to give you another point then.
we should buy some property.
Look, on that note, my parents emigrated to Southern Ontario because we wanted to go to a French place, which is why we went to Toronto. And my parents bought a cottage on a place called Toad Lake near Huntsville, Ontario. And it was an acre of land. This was a provincial property sale, and the price was $1,000. I don't think that's the case today. Just saying.
probably not.
Was it a mosquito infested mud hole on the wrong side of
Probably.
town? Yes, but you can't buy anything there for $1,000.
If you had mud, you would have been lucky. Mostly it's just rocks in that area.
Agreed.
Yeah.
They had sunfish too, no bass. We want to go bass fishing in Elk Lake.
Yes, who wants
At
to go
Beaver
bass
Lake.
fishing in Elk Lake?
We want to nail big smallmouth in Elk Lake. Are you in, Locke? What do you say?
Last I heard anything about Elk Lake, it had been infested by giant toads.
That's true.
Yeah, but they're human.
Okay.
On that note, boys and girls, thank you for watching.
We'll talk about
Thank you
that.
for coming by and hanging out with us while we drink beer. And we'll see you next week where we'll get drunk again. It'll be fine. So,
I'll be wearing a different hat.
sorry?
I'll be wearing a different hat.
Yes, you will. And Alan will be completely nude, and he will be doing a dance halfway through the show called Akalaka, Hey, Check Me Outa. So he's been rehearsing for weeks. It is an incredible dance, and I think that you'll enjoy it. So thank you all. And hey, December's tomorrow. So I hope you got your shopping down because
Because there's no Canada Post.
Canada Post
Go
is
to
on
the store.
strike.
There's no Canada Post.
Go to physical stores. Go see people. Go
Use
outside.
cash.
Use cash. Yes, exactly. All right. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.